Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here with some more Hearthstone. Today we'll be taking a look at the Armor Up Warrior deck. This is a variation of one that I saw streamed by Kungen, a high-ranking European streamer. It focuses on surviving the early game with spot removal, overhealing yourself with plus armor abilities, and then winning with some late game fatties. The early game removal includes cards like Fiery War Axe and Slam, armor gain coming through Armorsmith, Shield Block, and your hero power, and then some late game beats like Grommish Hellscream and Ragnaros. Now with the general premise out of the way, let's take a look at the deck in action. Now I realize we just took a look at a warrior deck, but the reason I'm showing you this one is because I've been playing it recently and it's been fairly effective, but also because it's fairly unchanged, it's fairly unaffected by the upcoming warrior changes, or rather, yeah. This isn't a one-turn kill focused deck like the last warrior one was. It does have big old late game creatures, but it's not focusing on so much winning in just one turn. There is the combo of Grommish Hellscream in conjunction with a Cruel Taskmaster, but that combo isn't affected. The only cards in this deck that are going to be changed are Defender Vargas, which isn't that big of a deal, and Sylvanas, which, you know, upping it in the mana curve could, you know, for some people, maybe want to swap it out for something else, but I'm still going to be running Sylvanas in the deck, even post this upcoming nerf. Alright, so he's going to be opening up here with a Mana Worm. Would have been great to have a Fiery War Axe, but I guess even that wasn't going to do the trick, because look at this. Two of these bad boys I'm playing. Now, we do have the Slam plus Whirlwind potential combo. We did just draw into the Fiery War Axe, but again, because of this taunt, it's not going to do us any good. So right now I'm actually just going to armor up, and then what we can do is next turn I can slam and whirlwind, and that'll be enough to kill him. Even if he gets a little bit more health, we ended up offsetting some of that damage through armoring up. Just slamming right there, yeah, I don't know that that necessarily would have been worth it. And now look at this, now we're going to be getting much more value out of the whirlwind, so I'm happy with that decision. So this deck, as I mentioned, has been doing very, very well. I've been incredibly impressed with it in what I've play tested so far. As you can see, I'm sitting around rank 7 right now on the ladder. And even post this patch, which is like literally just about to happen, this deck is still going to be quite strong. So we've got the spot removal for early game. We've got things like Shield Slam, Whirlwind, Fiery War Axe, Slam, and that's what we're using to, you know, to take care of these early game bothersome creatures. Well, let me think about this one here. Don't necessarily want to use Taskmaster for these, but these guys are a huge problem for me when it comes to removing some of the stuff. So I might actually have to use a weapon attack plus a Taskmaster. I could also drop this guy in play. He's an obvious target for the opponent, but we're gonna drop a Taskmaster. There are occasions where you end up using it in the early game. This is a great example of one of those. And there's a good chance this thing's just gonna die. So I am gonna use one of my weapon attacks as well. It's unfortunate, not the greatest use of either one of these cards, but we have to get through that front line. We can't necessarily count on drawing into a second Whirlwind anytime soon. So this is just sort of where we are. Now the real thing will be whether or not we can get another way to ping this guy off, which we don't unfortunately have. So let me see here. Well, why don't we, let me actually armor up, see what we draw into. Okay. So not exactly what we're hoping for, but I'm actually thinking of just getting rid of this guy, so that he doesn't have that spell power for next turn. And then we will just go ahead and armor up again. So playing passively, biding your time. The great thing about this deck against the mage deck is that this effective overhealing, which, I mean, right now we're basically at 35 life, can really help offset particularly a mage deck, and the mage is going to be even less effective after that upcoming patch. Okay, so we're going to have, so he gets rid of that, and he's probably going to get rid of this one too. There we go. Very early use of his Leroy Jenkins, but he obviously felt like he had to do that, so. So this turn will be a slam to get rid of Leroy. Then we will Arathi Weaponsmith, and we're gonna kill the 2/1 reincarnation. And right now, we're feeling pretty good. He's busted his Leroy super early. We're still at 27 health because of our overhealing. We're gonna be getting some card draw coming up. Probably might be a turn for maybe next turn Frothing Berserker, Acolyte of Pain. Actually, no, we gotta get rid of this guy first. So we're gonna be going attacking, and then what do I want to drop? I'm not sure yet. Actually, I think I've got a plan. Okay, so we're gonna go like this. Get rid of his stuff before. And then I'm gonna go Acolyte of Pain. Whirlwind. Draw a card off of that. Get rid of the shield. Do all that shenanigans. And then why don't we... We could weapon attack into it. The other thing... Yeah, I didn't want to froth... If you're wondering why I didn't Frothing Berserker there, it's... obviously we would have got some good value out of that Whirlwind. But I'm looking to just remove the stuff that he has. I think I'm actually going to just pop a shield slam here. Because chances are, against a mage with his direct damage, I'm not going to have much armor at any point unless I use shield slam in conjunction with a shield block, but I don't have that right now, so it wasn't super reliable. So I was just looking to get that extra health, get rid of the one creature he has on the board, and we'll just sort of take it from there. Alright, a couple mirror images coming into play. This will be a good turn for Frothing Berserker. Yeah, this is good. I like this play. Frothing Berserker, Defender of Argus. And we're gonna get one pump up from damaging that guy, bringing him up to a 4-5. And now we're in the position where the mage is, you know, sort of lost steam. He can pick up at any point though. Here's a great example with a Ragnaros. Desperately need one of our executes right now. Although actually, maybe not, because this guy is gonna be 6, so... Fortunately, we have no card draw at the moment. Yeah, I can get rid of it with this and this. This will bring him up to 6 damage. That's 2. Okay, so we're gonna do that then. Alright, so here is a Fiery War Axe. Get rid of that. Attack into him. Attack into him to draw a card. This will be a little bit of overkill because this guy's at 8 actually, but we get rid of it. So not having Ragnaros in play is good for us. Absolutely. And then I think let's go with the Bloodhoof so we can start doing some damage potentially. Start doing some damage potentially. Yes, indeed. Alright, so getting rid of the Rag puts us out of the crazy danger zone. You know, he can still double Pyroblast. I need to be focusing on armoring up as much as possible, actually. So there's the first Pyroblast. That almost makes me think, oh man, that almost makes me regret not armoring up last turn, to be honest. Go like this. And then we're gonna drop Acolyte of Pain, Weaponsmith, hit him for 4. And we just need to armor up every turn, and I also need to hope to draw into a shield block. We need to armor up every single turn now. I pray he doesn't have that second Pyroblast. There it is. That's unbelievable. Alright. Well, it is what it is. We're in a heap load of trouble. Let's see what we can do, though. I should have done that first so that I could see what the card draw was, although even if it is a shield block. Alright. So now we're at 6, so now all it takes is a fireball for him to kill us. And had I armored up prior, instead of, say, playing the Cairne that one turn when I had 1 mana remaining. Does he have the kill anyways and he's just trolling? No, I guess not. Okay. So we're gonna keep armoring up, we're gonna keep clearing his board, and we're gonna see what we can do. Ah, that is perfect. That is perfect. As much as I want to play Ragnaros, I think this is more important. So we're gonna play this first. Draw a card, see what we get. Nice, Defender of Argus. We will go ahead and do this. I will... Where do I want the Argus to go? Let's go this way. Okay, I guess not. It's such fail. I absolutely hate it. Oh my lord, I absolutely despise it. Alright, we do that. We pump him up a few more times. We take no damage to the face in this process, because that would be the worst for us. We pump him up 2 more times. Look at that. Look at that. There's 11, here is 2, bringing him down to 1. The armor up brought us into the safe range. What would you need? Double fireball? Which I'm guessing isn't gonna happen because probably would have done it before. Here's an arcane missiles, hoping to whittle me down probably. Are you serious? 2 to the face. That's quite painful. That makes me happy though. Although that doesn't make that much of a difference. 1 more to the face. Yeah, he's just hoping to whittle me down here. Oh. Gosh, I wish I had a Whirlwind. I would totally Whirlwind right now. So Ragnaros doesn't make a difference right now because he's got an ice block. Let's pop that ice block to make certain. Yeah. So Ragnaros doesn't matter at this point. I'm just going to fill the board with other stuff and focus on my health. And I guess we could just hold this in our hand because we have Fatal in play anyways. Unless he like... Actually no, because if he did a Flame Strike we wouldn't. But he can still Flame Strike and then ping this off. But we'll have Ragnaros as the finisher. Yeah, I'm not gonna play that. I'm not gonna play Sylvanas. And even if he does have Flame Strike, this guy comes back anyways. If he doesn't have his second ice block, oh, there it is. Unbelievable. Alright. So he's gonna ping me. Again, he's trying to consistently bring me low. I just need to continue to focus on getting myself back up. Alright, so let's actually I can do that. Yeah. Okay, so there's the victory, as I assume we had anyways. A good showing of the deck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the deck list. The Armor Up Warrior deck, which is largely unaffected by the upcoming patch, focuses primarily on early game spot removal, overhealing with plus armor abilities, and then winning in the late game. Let's take a look at the deck list, beginning with 2 executes. Obvious use for this is, you know, running into a large creature with one of your small creatures and then pinging it off, or doing direct damage with a slam and pinging it off, whirlwinding, pinning it off. Primarily used for scary mid to late game threats from your opponent. Shield Slam can be used early game or in the late game depending on the type of opponent that you face. If you're facing a slow opponent like a Control Paladin or Druid, you can a lot of times get huge armor numbers, which means this can be a late game creature removal card. It can be really crazy. There have been consistently games where I'm sitting with numbers in the teens to 20s when it comes to armor value, making Shield Slam absurdly strong at that point. Whirlwind for mass damage also works very well in conjunction with stuff like your Armorsmith and your Acolyte of Pain, and then, you know, synergizing with the Execute, or just finishing off small minions. This will be especially effective now that the Blood Imp is getting nerfed for Warlocks. Fiery War Axe for early game removal, great against, you know, a whole array of things. We just saw games against a Mana Worm. Fiery War Axe is great value, also against Fairy Dragons. We've got the Slam for early game removal, or for doing that little bit of damage for an Execute. Also the card draw, very nice, dropping Divine Shield off of a not Defender of Vargas, you know, the guy with charge. we've got the Armorsmith here, one of the big staples of this deck that gives us a lot of armor, especially when you have a multitude of your early game creatures in play. And by early game creatures, I'm talking about things like the Acolyte of Pain, the Frothing Berserker, or the Arathi Weaponsmith. So I guess it's more mid-game creatures, but you get a few of those in play with the Armorsmith, and a lot of times you're getting pretty decent armor value, which is really what this deck thrives around. It's that overhealing from the armor. Cruel Taskmaster, great combo with Grommish Hellscream, making for 12 damage. Also great for picking off early game opposing creatures if you're dealing with super aggro decks or just things that you need to get by, like those taunts that we saw last game. The shield block, obvious, works in this deck. The card draw plus the armor, beautiful. Acolyte of Pain, you get lots of card draw off of this, especially with things. You could even slam your own creature if you're super desperate for card draw, or Whirlwind just to get that card draw for it. Frothing Berserker, again, Acolyte of Pain, Armorsmith, plus your opponent's creatures. Frothing Berserker can get pretty big. Tinkmaster Overspark used for late game big threat removal against things like Sylvanas, Ragnaros, Ysera, things of that nature. Tinkmaster really shines. The Arathi Weaponsmith, I've seen variations of this deck that replaces that with things. If you're worried about a ton of aggro, maybe get rid of 1 or 2 of these, throw in some brawls. You could also just replace them for other stuff. I happen to like it in the deck. I like the 3/3 body, and I like the 2/2 weapon a majority of the time, so that's why I'm running 2 of it. Defender of Argus ×2, even with a nerf coming up, it's a 2/3. The big thing though is the +1/+1 and taunt on either side of him. It's just a matter of, you know, where does he end up landing? Because a lot of times that's not where you want him to go. Sylvanas Windrunner, post nerf, it will change from a card that's a must-have in every deck to you still should probably have it. The 6 mana, you know, especially in a deck like this, a late game focused deck, it's still a strong play. Cairne Bloodhoof, it's a recurring 4/5. Grommish Hellscream, combo with beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Cruel Taskmaster, turning it into a 12 damage charge attack. You can also, you know, if you don't have the Taskmaster, if you used it early game, drop a Whirlwind. You can shield slam your own minion. You can also slam your own minion. Just getting that enrage is pretty big, but yes, best used with the Cruel Taskmaster. And then of course we've got Ragnaros and Ysera, just strong late game plays, and this is a late game focused deck, so why not? And that does it, guys, for the Armor Up Warrior deck. Again, this is largely unchanged by this upcoming patch. Barely any changes at all. Still a strong play. Been working well for me, climbing the ladder, making my way back up to around rank 5. And yeah, we'll see what happens from there. Stay tuned for the gameplay video coming up tomorrow. And yeah, there you go. Thanks guys so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.